Hello and welcome to the Banker's Tech Talk video series, now in its 5th year of tracking fintech developments. You can view all previous Tech Talk videos at thebanker.com/techtalks. I'm Joy Macknight, Managing Editor at The Banker, and this week my guest is Evgeny Likhoded, CEO and founder of ClauseMatch, a reg tech firm deploying real-time document collaboration software. Evgeny, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Joy.
You recently published a white paper around Compliance 2030. What were the main findings of that?
I think one main finding was that compliance function has changed a lot in the last 10 years since the financial crisis. But since then, the tools that compliance professionals use have not changed. We see today compliance officers sitting on the board, compliance being a very business-critical function today. But we're seeing that the tools have not caught up with the fact that compliance is so important, it needs to be done right. And the second finding was that in the next 10 years, of course, the adoption of technology in compliance will accelerate. And in 10 years, we'll have a very, very different compliance function, where most manual tasks, mundane tasks will be automated. The use of AI will increase dramatically, and compliance officers will be there to make important decisions rather than doing the manual tasks of shuffling paper.
Okay, so how does ClauseMatch really address some of the pain points and challenges that face the compliance officers today?
Well, so at the core, ClauseMatch platform is a real-time document and content collaboration platform. And it provides a way for organizations to manage content. So, for example, compliance is a very paper-heavy function. So, for example, every document that is managed by compliance is managed via Word documents, emails, spreadsheets. And you cannot track the decisions that you take whenever anything needs to change. So, ClauseMatch platform helps with taking all of that compliance content, compliance documentation, like regulatory obligations, like regulatory alerts, like policies and procedures and internal controls, centralizing them and allowing to map them all together. And then anytime you make a change, you can record through ClauseMatch platform why that change was made, record the approvals, take that change management process through approvals, and then publish the relevant content to the employees and track how employees are engaging with that content.
Okay, and I know recently ClauseMatch went live at Intesa Sanpaolo. What kind of benefits is it bringing the bank in terms of its business processes?
So Intesa Sanpaolo is an interesting case because they saw the power of our platform not just in compliance but also in their other business operations. So they've adapted our platform for their internal vendor management contracts. So what that means is most global banks operate in a way where you have a shared service center or an entity which is managing vendor relations. But then all the services and goods that the bank buys through that shared service center, they need to be resold and redistributed to all of the entities and departments across the organization. So contracts need to be signed, services need to be agreed, they need to be updated. That is a very, very manual process. I'm pretty sure every bank is doing it in a very old way. So they've taken our platform and today they run that entire process of agreeing internal agreements and managing them, updating them, generating new ones, updating the prices, the departments which are using certain services in real time, and then providing reports to the board as well. So I haven't seen that level of automation in any bank so far in that area.
Okay, but you're also working with Barclays and Revelator. Tell me a little bit about what you're doing with them.
So Barclays were our very first client. Barclays and Revelator are using our platform purely for compliance. So it's internal policy management For Barclays, it was centralizing the entire governance framework of all of their policies and procedures in one single platform, and then recording every time there is a change to a policy, and then how that change was affected, how that change was approved, and all of that is stored as an audit trail that can be presented to the regulators. For Revolut, it was similar. Initially, they wanted to centralize their policy management and compliance documentation in order to be able to show to the regulators that they have robust governance structure. But then we worked with them to help them to ingest regulatory documents into our platform, and then help them to map regulatory documents to their internal policies and procedures and controls. And that way they've been able to prepare for example, for applying for new licenses and new jurisdictions and new markets where they're launching much faster. And then after that, as they were launching there, they can maintain their compliance program from a global perspective in a transparent and also harmonized way. Because as they're moving so fast and they're hiring new people and they're expanding to new markets, it can become a very messy framework of compliance and governance. We help them to centralize and have a single view of that.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your insights, Evgeny.
Thank you, Dre.